Oh. Hello.
It's almost perfect.
I think it's perfect. I'm just going to mute us real quick on this tab. All right. So how's everybody doing? Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of BREADCAST. I am EJ.
And I'm Luna.
And we are very happy to see you again. We were not here last week and it made me sad.
Yeah, really sad.
I had a sad day when we found out we couldn't stream last week and I was sad. Have you ever been sad before? I know you have.
Right.
Today we have a big show, big exciting show, lots of things planned. Luna got an amazing new look for her streaming computer.
Yes, and look at this too.
Check it out. Look at it.
Check it out.
That's real life commie propaganda right here from Vietnam. Vietnam. Luna's a little dark. Luna's camera's a little dark. I might bump that up a little bit. Yeah, and your headroom is not great. But you slouch usually.
Go fix it.
You're uncharacteristically good postured right now.
Yes.
Well, let's think about what has happened in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Lots been going on. There have been coups galore. Coups in Niger.
Yes.
And what was the last one in? Was it Ghana? Grant, was
Ghana?
it Ghana?
Oh.
Where was the last coup?
What did I miss? Did I sleep through the world?
Gabon.
Did I sleep through world like civil like?
You gotta have your eyes peeled open at 24/7 these days, Luna. There's just too much going on.
I need a new shirt saying like I slept through Russian Civil War and Niger Civil War and then Ghana Civil War.
Not Ghana. I was wrong. Stop spreading fake news and disinformation.
I'm sorry. I blame you though.
That's a little teaser for an upcoming segment on automated disinformation in the AI age.
By the way, you look very Sovietic today.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
I feel very good. I feel like our cameras do not look as good as they did 2 weeks ago. I need to go back and play with that again. It's bothering me.
My camera's pretty dark.
Your camera's dark. My camera's like yellow. I got a little Trump glow going on.
Yeah.
The technical stuff, folks. The technical stuff, it just plagues me to no end.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we want to begin? We have so much news to cover, and a lot of it has to do with labor, which is fitting, being that it's nearly Labor Day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Labor Day being the sham holiday that we get since May Day got ex-nayed in the USA because they don't want us thinking too much about the horrifying history of labor in the USA.
Market, yeah.
But Grant, you put something pretty good up on the shared thing here. So I'm gonna pull this up. I don't know if Grant, if you want to hop on for this, you can. If not, we could just react. But this is pretty funny. It's your the Labor Day searches. The Labor Day searches. Grant's gonna remain behind the scenes for this segment, but I just find this quite funny.
By the way, today is still in your time. It's still the Vietnam's Independence Day.
Oh yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about
2nd of September,
Vietnam's Independence Day?
Yeah, so in August 1945, in the date of 19th, we had our communist revolution where Vietnamese rose up and put an end to the existence of feudalism with the kings of Vietnam. We ended fascism and we ended colonialism. And that was the day where we had a successful revolution and Vietnam became an independent country. And that is why September 2nd was when Ho Chi Minh read the Declaration of Independence in the Ba Dinh Square in Hanoi, Vietnam, to officially announce the world that we are free from feudalism, colonialism, and fascism.
Hooray! We did it. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're very happy to be here in Vietnam, the independent, self-determining, socialist nation, which had a conflagration with the nation. You can't rhyme nation with nation. Almost tricked you, though.
Yeah, almost.
which we call the USA. We are now going to turn to the labor news. Labor Day news.
I'm wearing my official non-compete Workers of the World Unite t-shirt today. Oh.
Rad. That is rad. I love that shirt, actually. That's one of my favorite shirts. And I don't know where mine went. Ooh, Grant's going to put a link up. That's cool. Look at that. Sweet. Producing in action, folks. We have some real-life production work going on here. All right, so here's something that Grant contributed to the stream. Luna, can you get the screen up? On screen?
Yes.
Put it on screen.
This list, right? This purple.
Yeah, my screen. Yeah, that's right.
To make sure.
You did it. You did it. All right.
Yeah, I did it.
So Grant was searching around the word Labor Day on news sites, and I just think this is pretty funny. So this is on CNN. It kind of tells you a little bit about how far class consciousness has fallen in the USA and how Labor Day is a tool of propaganda.
Exactly. I like the okay, let me give you some of the irony that I see. The rest of the world's Labor Day is May 1st. It is started in America, in the United States of America, with the Haymarket what you call it, uprising?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they got massacred. And that was why the whole world took it as the Labor Day of the whole world. But now the US, you like the origin of the Labor Day, but you like totally wipe that down, erase that part of history, and took a new day as a Labor Day, which is ridiculous. Okay, continue.
Yes,
EJ.
The working class betrayed by the USA in the 19th century, much as I was betrayed by Luna, who promised and swore up and down that she wouldn't talk louder than a certain volume during the stream today.
The irony of the USA, you know, the hypocrisy and the irony of the USA forced me to raise my voice. I'm sorry.
I know. And I'm not trying to silence Luna, as I often get accused of doing when we have audio issues. I'm just trying to get Luna to have a little less dynamic range. So Labor Day, search on CNN. We've got Labor Day 2023. What's open and closed on the September 4th holiday? Because you know you're going to want to do some shopping on Labor Day, right? We found all the best Labor Day sales. You can shop right now.
Oh, it's Labor Day, but the workers have to work harder. Yeah.
But wait, if you go to the bottom of the list, we have...
I hope they have a more... The wages these days higher, though. At least 3 times.
No, instead we get NYPD to deploy drones to monitor Labor Day weekend gatherings, raising civil liberties concerns.
Wow. Awesome. Great news.
So, and I wanted to pull that article up, actually. But Grant didn't put a link to the actual article in the doc. Failing once again. Well, it's all right. I found it. CNN. Let me just share that screen.
George Bervin just said, "Yay, Grant!"
Yay, Grant! Grant did it. Grant did it. All right, kind of. Grant gets a C+ this time, which is a market improvement. All right, get us on screen.
Okay, got it.
All right. NYPD to deploy drones to monitor Labor Day weekend gatherings, raising civil liberty concerns.
Wow, amazing.
The New York City Police Whoa, this new mouse is a little wacky. Getting a little wacky with the mouse. All right. The New York City Police Department will deploy a fleet of high-tech drones during Labor Day weekend to monitor complaints about large gatherings associated with West Indian American Day celebrations. Of course, there would be racism involved as well with the NYPD.
Yeah, right. You're right. Oh, my goodness.
Police enforcement for the yearly festivities, which culminate on Monday and have previously been marred by violence, have been reworked in recent years. NYPD officers are now paired with representatives of the Department of Buildings and other city agencies to tackle non-emergency complaints such as noise. Authorities have said, you know, the broken window theory. If they're noisy, they might get violent. Mayor Eric Adams, a former NYPD officer himself, like who votes for a former NYPD cop in New York City? Like, I've never met anybody who has lived in New York City who like has any love whatsoever for NYPD. I mean, they're just notoriously like villainous.
They are world famously for being extremely violent.
Violent and completely trampling civil rights constantly. Oh, look at the pop-up I got. This couldn't be more perfect.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, in China, what's happening in China and what does it mean for the rest of the world? Sign me
gosh.
up. No thanks.
I don't know how did they do it, that even it's with the pop up like that, it also sounds so evil. It looks so
Of
evil.
course, they want you to be terrified of China.
Meanwhile, in China, like, okay, we exist.
They talk
Sorry.
about China in the news in the USA more than they talk about the USA sometimes. Quite often, actually. They definitely talk about China a hell of a lot more than they do in the Vietnamese news.
True.
And you share a border with China.
Exactly. China is our biggest trade partner, and we share a border with China, and we've been having an over 2,000 years relationship. So you think that we should be the one to talk about China more than the US, right?
Nope. Because the USA can't. I don't know. The USA is losing its S word over China. But anyway, that's a derailing right there. Let's get back on track here. There are a number of calls of loud music, disruptive behavior. Instead of the police having to respond and look at those, we're just going to send drones over to spy on them from a safe distance. Like, I love how they say
safe
this,
distance.
Okay, this is just so funny because it's minimizing the use of spy drones so ineffectively. Okay, so they say they're going to utilize drones from a safe distance, not down flying into someone's backyard to see what they have on the grill. I mean, okay, have you seen have you ever heard of a zoom lens?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a telephoto lens? As if these drones can't zoom in and see what's on the grill if they want to.
Technology is very high now that the zoom lens are actually teeny tiny.
They have
and still full HD. Oh, great.
They've perfected the technology in, the illegal occupation of nations in North Africa and what's commonly referred to as the Middle East, because they have gotten unfortunately so good at spying on and bombing and assassinating innocent people, especially in that region. And now that technology's come home.
It's creepy.
So yes, fascism always comes home to the imperial core. So anyway, they're going to utilize the drones to determine should they send crisis management teams there right away to help mitigate the problem. That's such a nice way of saying send the cops in to rough people up, because that's what they do with the NYPD.
Dude, it's another way of doing the Haymarket again,
Automating it. They're automating the Haymarket affair with drone technology. Wow, this mouse is it's got a mind of its own. I don't know if I'm happy with this. I wonder if you turn. I might need to get a trackball or a little.
Can you change the speed of it?
What do you call a little eraser thing, Grant, on the ThinkPads? Yeah, a little nib. I don't even know where I was. Okay. Pervasive drone surveillance can be easily misused to exploit and discriminate against New Yorkers. I mean, hell yeah, of course it will be used for that. I mean, do you not remember stop and frisk, the broken window strategy, all the different ways in which they harassed and imprisoned and assaulted and murdered innocent people across New York City? I mean, the NYPD is not to be trusted with this kind of stuff. I'm sorry. No cops in the USA are to be trusted with this kind of technology. And yet we're funneling, Joe Biden's Democratic administration is funneling billions of dollars to these cops. And I got another article about LAPD.
Meanwhile, liberals still having brunch right now.
That's right. Brunching it up. Is the NYPD...
There's a super chat from Gray.
Oh, let's hear it.
Hi, sorry for chatting in the middle of the subject. You have nothing to sorry about, comrade. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Yeah. Don't apologize for literally sending money our way. We will not complain about that.
It goes a long way.
It does go a long way. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you, comrade. Police departments have been scaling up their use of drones, according to the ACLU. The group estimates 1,400 departments already use the technology, with more not only poised to use drones, but using them to respond to domestic incidents, wellness checks, and even noise complaints, like the NYPD will be doing this weekend. If the police are sending a drone to every non-emergency situation just because it might become an emergency situation, they're going to be sending an enormous number of drones flying across American cities and towns with intense regularity. If communities don't put some brakes on law enforcement's use of drones, it's going to become an everyday presence in many places. It shouldn't just be on the whim of a mayor. It should be discussions in the communities that help law enforcement and that can be helped by law enforcement and harmed. All right, ACLU, you should have cleaned that copy up a little bit or something. But anyway, I get what you're saying. It could help you or harm you. Okay. I don't see how the cops with drones are going to help too many people. The only piece of drone technology I saw that was cool was in China. Was in big, scary China because they have the firefighting drones there. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
They'll go up into the high rises and they can spray like right into the window of the apartment that's in fire. That's cool technology. Yeah. How about more of that? Less of the terrorism,
drones with
police
cameras, and bombs.
All right, so that was an interesting little article. We also have another search results compilation from Grant. Let's look at this one from Fox News. All right, here we go.
Fox News, huh?
Always good to keep an eye on Fox News, see what they're up to. It's like, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, Luna.
Thinking about that while you're looking for it. In Vietnam, Fox, I love Foxes, they're cute, but like, we have some kind of traditional belief that fox are kind of deceiving kind of animals. So
trickster spirits.
Yeah, exactly. So like naming your newspaper and news channels, Fox News is like, am funny. I supposed to trust you? Excuse me?
I never thought about that. That's pretty funny. Yeah. They snuck that past us because Fox was the channel when I was a kid with like The Simpsons and Alien Nation. Remember that old gem? And Married with Children. Mm-hmm. That's what I associated with Fox until Fox News came out. And then it became the sneaky, deceptive trickster news network that brainwashed boomers across the country into being real mad and having high blood pressure and getting real scared of
you know what? We should have a dog news.
Dog news?
Dogs are trustworthy.
I just want news about dogs. Like there are enough dog news stories out there to have a 24-hour dog news network.
Yeah, right.
And in a better world, we would have a dog news network.
Yeah. And we have an actual dog reporter.
I like that idea. Let's go now to Scruffy on the scene.
Woof, woof, woof.
I like it.
Woof.
Scruffy has a little like press pass tucked into the ribbon of his.
The Vietnamese dog saying would be like, go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. That is how we describe dog bark in Vietnamese. I don't know. It's not exactly like go away in English, but it's go, 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 go in Vietnamese.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm going to just move on. I don't want to get into a whole conversation about dog bark noises right now.
I don't know. How do you describe dog bark in your language? Kind of curious.
Human interest. All right. Can you put the story on screen? Luna's just like determined to derail me today. All right.
I am the litmus test of your ADHD.
I see. Okay. Well, all right. Federal ruling against Christian and Muslim parents may spark a new campaign in education. What does this have to do with Labor Day at all? I escaped Castro. Oh my God. Okay, so this is what happens when you look up Labor Day on Fox News. This is what happens when you look up Labor Day on Fox News.
This is cute. Rough.
Luna.
And then, ow.
Luna, come on. We're in a new segment now.
I'm sorry.
We've moved on to a new segment.
I had to have like 30 seconds.
No,
so cute.
You had 30 seconds.
Oh.
Oh Lord, Lord Luna,
stop.
you're a piece of work with the dog noises over here.
What does a fox say? Oops.
No. It's not. What year was that? That's like 2018. You're taking us back to.
I love that song.
Nobody remembers that song except for you.
Oh, what does a fox say?
No, stop. Nobody wants to remember that song. That's in the past. We're putting that to rest.
What does a fox say?
No, that's a dead meme, Luna. No, you even remember the dance? Oh my God. I'm so glad that our screen is tiny right now. I don't want that preserved in HD. All right. Can we go on to the segment next? Or you have any more animal noise
sorry,
comrades.
Okay, I'm being serious right now. Okay.
All right. So if you search Labor Day on Fox News,
Len and Luna bought our book.
Lennon Luna bought our book. Len and Luna bought our book. Doo-dah, doo-dah.
Doo-dah.
Len and Luna bought our book. Oh, in the doo-dah day. Gonna read that book. Gonna learn Diamat. Len and Luna bought our book, and we think that's okay.
Doo-dah, doo-dah.
Hooray!
Okay.
All right.
That's our advertisement commercial section.
I don't even feel like doing this segment anymore.
Eh.
But it's funny. Let's do it real quick. Let's see if we can do it real quick without Luna derailing us once more. Okay. All right. Federal ruling. This is what happened. So just let me set it up again in case anyone's joining us newly. So if you search Labor Day on Fox News, this is what comes up. First, federal ruling against Christian and Muslim parents may spark a new campaign in education. Whoa. I escaped Castro's Cuba for freedom in America.
Oh,
61 years later, my family still celebrates our arrival. Oh.
Gosh.
What are you talking about, Grant? This is cursed. This is cursed.
This is so cursed.
All right, we're closing this out. We're done with this. This was a fail. This segment started really strong. And it just completely just spun wildly out of control at the end.
And everyone clapped.
I think that we are doing good at improving, and we need to make some notes about what we can improve about staying on topic with our segments moving
We
forward.
should improve.
Grant, you need to come on screen to self-crit. You
quality
can't do a
somehow.
self-crit by proxy. That's a coward's way out. Yeah, main screen turn on. Engage. Self-crit
Okay, so
mode.
a bit of
Activate.
self-crit. My internet was acting up really bad, and I couldn't. And it was hard to focus really good.
Well,
Self-crit.
That's real good. No, it wasn't even your fault, except for the fact that you apparently just put an opinion page instead of a search for the word Labor Day on Fox News. But I forgive you for that one.
So September
Could
2nd
happen.
is your Labor Day?
No, it's the first Monday of
It's a
September.
movable feast.
It's a movable.
That's
feast.
even harder to remember.
Yeah, but there's a reason for it. So you get a 3-day weekend. I mean, I
Right.
think that's fine. I'm not going to complain about it. Nobody likes Mondays.
Our Labor Day, we have a 4 days.
I know, Luna. Grant keeps getting frozen on exasperated expressions and gesticulations. All right, we'll let Grant off the hook. Grant's self-crit is done. We're a ways off from graphics packages making a comeback. I think we need to nail down what we got. All right, moving on. I know. Sometimes I talk to you like, oh my God, I was about to make the worst reference. The worst reference.
Just don't do it. Move on. Nope, stop.
I was just gonna say sometimes I talk to Grant when we can't hear him, like Rush Limbaugh used to talk to Mr. Snurdly. It's the worst. I'm sorry. Self-crit.
You tried to stop,
I
Conrad.
shouldn't
tried to
resurrect
stop
the
him, but I
memories
couldn't.
of Rush and
bad.
Mr. Snurdly. Grant just threatened to remove me from the stream, which is a valid instinct. Keep those instincts fresh, Grant. That's good. All right, moving on. We got more labor news, and we're doing pretty good on our scheduled time. Let's see. Student loans starting back. I don't know anything about that, Grant. Are they starting back up from the? All right, I can talk about that. So the student loans were frozen basically for COVID.
Yeah,
They're starting back up.
Oh, great.
So all my friends, basically, pretty much everyone I know that's my age. See, I'm in the generation that graduated from college just in time for the financial collapse of 2000.
Great generation.
8, 9.
Wow, what a lucky generation.
So I have a lot of friends who are still, to this day, not fully recovered from that financial collapse. And then COVID hit them. It was like a double, triple whammy. And
then
now
on top of
and
everything-
almost everybody my age has student. I'm pushing 40 now. I'm 39 years old. People my age, we're still paying off like undergraduate college debt. And just by way of comparison, I mean, how much was your education, Luna, for a 4-year degree at one of the top schools in
The
Vietnam?
top national school, Business University of Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
I mean, after 4 years, it was $200 a semester for the tuition fee. And after 4 years, my student loan was, can you guess? After 4 years, in the top 5, usually top 10 best university in Vietnam, my student loan was $700, and it took me the whole entire 6 months to pay it off with my newly graduated salary in 2013.
Yeah. So Vietnam wins. So you get a 2-day Labor Day, and you don't get mired in debt for decades for getting a basic degree. Wow.
Well, even like 10 years later, I just knew from my friends, university friend, that the tuition fee for my same school today is around $300 for a semester or something like that. It depends on the faculty, but usually from 300 to 500 for a semester, and that's how it changes over 10 years, and that's just it.
We have some union bulletins, just some quick ones. So let's see. I guess we'll just kind of push these off in rapid succession. Sharing my screen here. Sharing my screen here. All right, where do we want to start? I guess we'll start here with the auto workers on both sides of the border. This is great to see some international solidarity here. So put this on screen, Luna.
Yes.
Yep.
There you go.
There's only ever one screen share. So that's always going to be the one.
This is touch screen, you know.
Oh, yeah, it is a touch screen, isn't it? I can see that.
Yes.
That's actually better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Way better.
Ha! Now I don't have to worry about the runaway mouse anymore. All right. Auto workers on both sides of the border vote overwhelmingly in favor of strike mandate against the big 3 auto manufacturers. This is some compelling news, folks. Unifor members in Canada voted this weekend, while UAW voted late last week. Workers at a trio of major automakers have voted overwhelmingly in favor of allowing their union to call a strike if bargaining committees can't secure new collective agreements in the coming months. Unifor, Canada's largest private sector union, says its members at Ford Motor Company, General Motors, and Stellantis, I don't know what the hell that is, but Stellantis, all voted between 98 and 99% in favor of the strike mandate. That's pretty wild ratio. The big 3 got ratioed, as the kids say. In Windsor, Ontario, at Local 444, it was 98.1% in favor of supporting strike action at Stellantis' assembly plant, if it comes to that during the big 3 negotiations. If we withdraw our labor, it will be because the company isn't listening to what we need to get for our membership, said 444 President David Cassidy. Dave Cassidy? That's a throwback. I'm dressed appropriately for that name. All right, the 3 of you in the audience who know who David Cassidy was, I hope you enjoyed that moment. The vote took place over the weekend amid a pause in bargaining talks. So anyway, this is great. This is good news. It means that the power of the strike can be applied in this situation, and it's good to see that the auto workers unions still have some teeth. And I like that there's the international angle there. Mm-hmm. So any comments on that, Luna? If not, I got more for you.
Great. More.
All right, let's go more. And this is all good news, and this is why we all need to be unionized, folks. I mean, This is how we get good news. Unionizing, organizing, striking. This is awesome. Look at this. Teamsters vote to create dedicated Amazon division to unionize workers. As I know people who drive for Amazon, first of all.
Yes.
Second of all, I always take a little time to talk to the Amazon drivers when I was in the USA. When they would come to the house, I would always talk to them. And they always had the worst, they were just in the worst situation. You know, they're always like, oh, I have to pick up 20 houses today, or, something like that. Their other truck broke down, and then they have to get the other truck, and they have to make up for it. It's like the way that Amazon, if you don't know this, the way that they organize their logistics is they have all these like little companies that are like quote unquote contractors.
Yeah.
And it's like if one of those companies that contracts with them unionizes or threatens to unionize or anything like that, they can just like cancel the contract with that company and just pick up another one. Because there's so many companies that want to get that contract with Amazon. So it's an easy way for them to like just stamp out unions. It's like, okay, well, if all the truck drivers at this subcontractor want to unionize, boom, they're not our subcontractor anymore. You know? So anyway,
Gosh.
but this is great because the Teamsters know how to deal with this.
Yes.
Because trucking companies do similar things.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a strong
Logistics
union,
companies.
right?
The Teamsters are pretty strong.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. They're not the most militant or radical union, but
pretty strong.
they're
yeah.
pretty strong. So they're one of America's largest labor unions, voted in favor of launching a national effort to unionize Amazon workers at a virtual convention Thursday. The national effort laid out in a resolution will involve creating and funding a dedicated Amazon division to help workers in its logistics business, including warehouse workers and delivery drivers, to organize and demand better working conditions. The special resolution building worker power at Amazon passed with 1,562 yes votes and 9 no votes, according to Teamster spokesperson Kara Dennis.
9 assholes.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine voting against? Why would you vote against it?
Well, you vote against seriously.
I think those people need to be like investigated. You know.
Actually, are they?
I mean, I guess that's not how
Asian provocateur or like
I don't know.
like.
It's maybe they have a reason. Maybe there's something we don't know. I guess I shouldn't pass judgment. Maybe there's some specific reason.
Maybe
that has
they
to do
just
with-
haven't indoctrinated anti-union.
I don't know. Maybe they have something else that they think is a bigger priority. Anyway, Amazon presents a massive threat to working class communities and good jobs in the logistics industry. Randy Corrigan, the Teamsters national director for Amazon, said, Amazon workers face dehumanizing, unsafe, and low-paid jobs with high turnover and no voice at work. He added, Amazon workers are calling for safer and better working conditions, and with today's resolution, we are activating the full force of our union to support them. Amazon did not immediately respond to a request for comment. I wonder why.
Uh-huh.
Labor experts said that landslide vote shows a united front from different factions within the Teamsters. The heart of the Teamsters membership are employees from logistics and transportation businesses who have the most to lose for Amazon's market power, said Professor John Logan, Director of Labor and Employment Studies at San Francisco State University. So that's pretty cool. And this might be a good time to...
Man, look at this. Kai, what are you
All right,
doing?
come on.
Kai is trying to distract me.
Kai and
Look
Luna.
at penguin.
Wait, I have to say this. Tisk, tisk. Tisk, tisk, Kai and Luna.
What does it mean?
It means shame on you.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, the master camera doesn't really...
No,
have to
we
lean
have
it.
to
Oh,
do this.
and then you have to do this. It's like... There we go. Now we've stabilized. All right, anyway. I did like the penguin, though, Kai. Good work on that.
Yeah.
Keep the penguins coming, folks. All right. We're going to get a flood of penguins if we're lucky. It's like the...
Do they have a rod? What do you call it? Otter emoji?
Is there an otter emoji? I guess we'll
Is
find
there
out
an
soon.
otter emoji somewhere?
We'll find out. Because if there is one, then someone in chat will
Because
post
otter
it.
and oh no,
All right. Grant says there's-
otters and penguins are two of my most favorite animals.
I'm very happy that I got to see Luna see an otter in real life for the first time.
Seriously, the first time I saw an otter, river otter, was in America. It was amazing.
This is after party discussion.
Sorry.
Okay, we're in the middle of a labor bulletin on Labor Day.
Yes, my secret.
No, okay, yes. At the end of the show, we can. If Luna doesn't distract us too much anymore, as a reward, we'll show a video of an otter eating a fish.
Dang.
Assuming it's not too graphic. Is it graphic? All right. Well, I mean, I could see that being like gruesome, maybe, but I'll take your word that it's not. All right. Okay. We have another little story about the Teamsters. Where did it go? Here we go. This is a little older, but we didn't stream last week, so I don't mind going over it. UPS deal. Teamsters vote in favor of UPS deal. It could affect lots of stocks. It's a big day for United Parcel Service and its workers. Results of members voting on the company's new 5-year labor deal with Teamsters Union are in. More than 86% of members voted yes. It's good news for many companies, not only UPS. Ticker UPS. Our members just ratified the most lucrative agreement the Teamsters have ever negotiated at UPS. This contract will improve the lives of hundreds of thousands of workers Teamsters have set a new standard and raised the bar for pay, benefits, and working conditions in the package delivery industry, said Teamsters General President Sean O'Brien. Faith in Bigora. UPS and the Teamsters agreed to new labor deal in July. Grant broke it. Grant broke my streak. UPS and Teamsters agreed to a new labor deal in July, but that was only a first step. Union leadership essentially recommends that members ratify a deal when they negotiate a new agreement. This season of labor talks has been different. There's a small chance of a no vote. Workers at Boeing, see, Boeing, they have got like the best union busting contractors in the business. I mean, I can't believe that the Boeing factory in Charleston voted no for the union. Well, it's one of their, this supplier, Spirit Aerosystems, voted a contract down in June. The offer was modified with union member ratified a new contract a few days later. Okay, well, they did eventually get through. So anyway, that's a good, this is good. I think that if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but one of the things that this new contract does is help new workers, and there are a lot of workers who were not getting a fair share of benefits. So hopefully this helps a lot of workers out there. What?
It's touch screen. You can just touch it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it's touchscreen. Thank you. Yes. Luna is giving me tech support over here.
I can't help but seeing him struggling,
I'm not struggling. I'm thinking about what I'm going to click on next.
Okay.
Why don't you look at your screen and I'll look at my screen, and then we don't have to worry about each other's screens.
Aren't we comrades? Aren't we supposed to
I didn't mind it until you
other?
started giving me screen crit. Input crit. I don't need input crit. All right, here's one last labor story. And this is a biggie. This is a big biggie. Check this out. Screen Actors Guild votes on extending strike to the video game industry. Gamers beware. We have some gamer news for you.
Ooh.
The National Council of the Hollywood Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, announced Friday that its members will vote on whether they are willing to extend their strike to the video game industry in the event that the negotiations are undertaken on September 26th with the businessmen of the sector. With the businessmen of the sector are not satisfactory. Am I wrong, or is that sentence jacked up? Why does it even say businessmen? Who uses the word businessmen? And
Exactly.
anyway, the union's president, Fran Drescher, the nanny, said in a statement that talks for a new agreement. No, I'm not going to do the nanny voice the whole time. We're at a stalemate. And the strike author, I think the people who got my Fran Drescher nanny joke are the same people who got my David Cassidy joke. I think there's a Venn diagram of a circle of those people. I'm old is the point. Unanimous decision comes nearly a year after the union's interactive media agreement was extended beyond its expiration date. We're forced with greed and disrespect from employers, said Drescher, who emphasized, I think it's funny because this almost sounds like a mafia. It's like it's Fran Drescher, but talking like a mafia don. Once again, we're faced with greed and disrespect from employers, said Drescher. Without contractual protections, employers are asking actors to unknowingly participate in the extinction of their art and livelihoods, union chief negotiator Duncan Crabtree, Ireland, Faith and Bigora, said in the same document. I'm sorry. All right. The members of the vote from September 5th to 25 to authorize a strike, which meant that if they have a majority, the SAG-AFTRA National Council would declare a work stoppage in the event that video game companies do not bargain fairly. So, I mean, this is good. Yes, take them all down. Take down the Hollywood studios, take down the AAA game studios. Actually, it's about ethics in games, labor. How you like them apples? This should be the real Gamergate, okay? We're talking about labor rights for game workers.
Exactly. Finally, we have a real life proof of the Gamergate.
This is the meat and potatoes version of Gamergate. Gamergate 2.0. This time
is what
it's
it's
less
supposed
toxic.
to be. The Gamergate.
Yes, yes. So, anyways, in all seriousness, we do support the actors, the writers, and all of the folks who are struggling right now to have better conditions and more fair Conditions. Yeah. Working conditions. So yeah, I think that's it for our roundup of labor news.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, not exactly, because we have some shenanigans afoot. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. I really like this a lot. All right, let's get this on screen.
Shit.
There needs to be like a Chrome plugin that lets you do
Something,
this.
yeah.
This is so obnoxious the way this works. I do not like. All right. All right. You two are about to get on my last nerve.
We don't care.
All right. Leaked Zoom all hands. This is so funny to me. Leaked Zoom all hands. CEO says employees must return to offices because they can't be as innovative or get to know each other on Zoom.
I don't.
Wah, 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 wah.
Look at those CEOs. They're crying so hard.
I mean, get the irony of this.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, Zoom told employees it would send some workers back to the office regularly. Zoom CEO Eric Yuan said remote work didn't allow people to build as much trust or be as innovative.
Yeah, right.
The comments are surprising given the role Zoom's technology plays in remote work.
You're right.
It's like our product sucks.
Isn't their own the existence of your entire product is about to connect people online?
It's literally like if I don't know, if Kellogg's was like, y'all got to stop eating so much Wheaties. This Wheaties is really messing everybody up. It's like our product is terrible. Hi, I'm Eric Yuan, CEO of Zoom, here to tell you that our product is terrible. Don't use it. We don't.
We're trying to get our staff to stop using it.
We have been trying desperately to get our staff to stop using our product to the point of threatening them with termination.
Gosh.
The flagship remote work product doesn't allow employees to build as much trust or be as innovative in the office, according to a leaked meeting recording viewed by Insider. Zoom, one of the main enablers and beneficiaries of remote work, told employees living within 50 miles of a Zoom office that they must work there at least 2 days a week. Imagine having to drive 50 miles to work at
50
Zoom.
miles.
50 miles to work at Zoom with Eric Yuan. You got to Zoom your way over to the office on that interstate. You know what I'm saying? To get there in time, clock in. Oy, oy. Okay. The top reason for the mandate, Yuan said at August 3rd meeting, is that it's difficult for employees to get to know each other and build trust remotely.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Yep.
Trust is a foundation for everything. Without trust, we will be slow. And you can't trust somebody over our shitty app. What, are you kidding me? Have you used this thing? Quite often you come up with great ideas, but when we're all on Zoom, it's really hard. It is. This product sucks. It's the worst. We cannot have a great conversation. What's like the one thing that Zoom is supposed to allow you to do?
To have a conversation without actually seeing each other in real life.
It's like the one feature that
Yeah.
you're supposed to be able to have a great conversation on
It
Zoom.
is the entire purpose of the existence of their product.
I think that I don't know. If I was Yuan, I'd be like freshening up my resume. We cannot debate each other. Oh God, is even the CEO of Zoom is debate brain now?
Gosh.
The debate brain disease grows and mutates and just gets its little feelers into everybody's brains. How can you escape the curse of the debate brain? We cannot debate each other well because everybody tends to be very friendly when you join a Zoom call.
I mean, should we just shut down the whole debate sphere right now because they're doing it online?
Wait, Luna.
Huh?
You missed it. Yuan said that the problem with Zoom is that the employers are too friendly with each other.
Oh.
Everyone tends to be very friendly when you join a Zoom call. We don't want our employees being friendly with each other.
Yeah, right? We want you to hate each other, compete at each other, so we can just like, like trick both of you down the pipeline of like, lower the salary or something.
What the? Are you okay?
Oh no, hey, don't you know that it's real?
What are you talking
They
about?
want employees to distrust each other, not be nice to each other, hate each other. So they would keep more secret in their salaries, and they can just like lower the
Oh
salary
yeah, yeah.
down
You don't. Well, yeah.
over
They might
time.
join. They might start a union.
Exactly, and too friendly, they might
All
start a
right. Okay.
union.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay. I didn't really get what you where you're going with that, but okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Good point. Good point, Luna. But I just love that. It's like this workplace just isn't toxic enough.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom's not great for having great conversations. We need to have more debates. Damn it. What a horrible, horrible. I never would want to work for Zoom after reading this article. Oh my gosh. The comments, much like the decision to return some employees to offices, are surprising given the role Zoom's technology plays in remote work. The company's video conferencing service became so ubiquitous early in the pandemic that its corporate name became a verb. Yeah. All right, we don't need to read Zoom propaganda now. That's it. Okay. I just thought that was pretty funny. Here's another labor-related story. How are we on time? What are we at? Almost 7:50, and we got a. All right, let's. I got a lot more stories. We'll have to just move them
Okay,
next week.
like short break of I just saw a video of the big heavy flood happening in Las Vegas.
Yes,
Yeah,
and Burning Man. The Burning Men are trapped.
Yeah,
Last I checked,
exactly.
70,000 people were stuck in the desert in the mud due to the rains.
That's crazy.
So we do hope that everybody's okay.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed to see that the who was it? There's this lawyer. Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, there's this one crappy corporate lawyer that like made a post like, I made it out of Burning Man.
Eventually, one death so far.
Yeah, well, that's not. We're not happy about that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got a big story.
Oh.
About drug addiction. I think this is just interesting, and let's see. Man, sharing a screen on this is a nightmare. They got to make this more efficient. It's wild how annoying this is. Okay. 2 years ago, Oregon changed its approach to drug addiction, and the results are in via NPR. This is actually an audio thing, but I've got the transcript. Let's just do the transcript. I don't want to listen to this crap from NPR. It's been more than 2 years since Oregon started a new social experiment to try to change the state's approach to drug addiction. Like the rest of the country, Oregon used to incarcerate people for drug possession, but in 2020, voters decriminalized drugs and proposed a new system. Instead of taking people to jail, offer them services and treatment. Joining us now to talk about how that's going in Oregon Public Broadcasting is Jonathan Levinson, who's been reporting on the story. Jonathan, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What was the argument that people made for tearing down the old system and trying to start something new? How about, all right, we'll let Levinson talk. I won't editorialize yet. Well, nationally, we have a very punitive approach to drug addiction. We arrest people, we charge them with crimes, we fine them, incarcerate them, and it might get people off the street or out of sight for a bit, but in terms of addressing addiction, it is quite harmful and can actually make recovery more difficult. How is this like, you have to get an expert on it to say, like, this is so obvious. This is so dang obvious. Like, locking people up for being addicted to drugs doesn't help anybody, and it hurts a lot of people. Like, why? It's so obvious. Okay. Jail's incredibly disruptive. Even if it's just a few weeks, people lose jobs, they lose housing, bills can pile up, and then you're out. Parole is very difficult and cumbersome and expensive. So the idea behind decriminalization is to replace jail and criminal charges with addiction services. It steers most of the state's cannabis tax revenue towards service providers around the state. To date, that totals around $200 million that's been paid out. And earlier this year, the Oregon Health Authority said that already in the early stages of the program, tens of thousands of people had already received services. At the same time, there's been criticism and negative public reaction. Is it accurate to say, as many people do, that it's a failed experiment? Oregon still has some of the highest rates of substance use disorder in the country. Mm-hmm. This is okay. All right. I'm having to like refrain myself from speaking up because I just want to get through the article. Okay, then we can talk about it. Recent polling in the state shows widespread dissatisfaction with the law, but I think it's too soon to say that it's a failed policy. I mean, it's only been 3 years. First of all, like they think things. Okay, anyway, Oregon unraveled almost a half century of drug policy in 13 weeks. It passed in November 2020, so 2 years really, Took effect February 1st, 2021. Less than 2 years. That's very fast. It's so fast that service providers say the system is meant to replace arrest and jail. We're nowhere near ready to assume all of this increased responsibility. It's just a massive system that needs to be stood up. I spoke to Lisa Wigan, whom she oversees Measure 110 programs for a service provider in Oregon, and she said that this condensed timeline meant they are sunk before they even began. Critics say it's a fundamentally flawed policy. Republicans in the state have been calling for its repeal for a while, as if the criminal justice alternative, quote unquote, locking people up, was like miraculously effective at curbing drug use. It's not. This comes to a break. This is a breakdown in people understanding how development works.
Yeah.
They think that something is just going to work immediately out of the box with no like trial and error. I mean,
Exactly.
this is not how science works. You have to,
You
you have
can't
to
not
have
just come up with some formula that immediately work.
right. It's like you find out what works and what doesn't. You
Mhm.
you tweak it, you adjust it, you improve it, you keep what works and you abandon what doesn't. But that's not the way anybody in the US government thinks about things, and it's not how they want you to think about things either. Because at the end of the day, they don't actually want to solve these problems. And I'm talking about the capitalists that control the system. Because drug addiction is a critical part of the prison slavery industrial complex.
And speaking as a country that was a victim of drug trade by the US and the CIA, I mean, hypocrite.
You spoke to a number of drug users and people in recovery. What did they tell you about what they think works and what doesn't work to keep people in recovery and away from drugs? So none of them said that the threat of jail was a factor in their decision to quit using, because it's just not. The whole idea of a deterrent is just BS. I spoke to Michael Hamilton the day he was released from jail on a probation violation, and he'd been trying to quit opioids basically since he broke his foot and was prescribed OxyContin. He pointed to a different motivation for staying off drugs in jail, his kids, his family, which is like, yeah, and this has been pretty well established that like with people with good lives who have people that care about them and have a support network
Yeah.
are much more likely to be able to kick drugs.
Yeah.
And people who have terrible lives are much more likely to use drugs to escape and
Exactly.
self-medicate and that sort of thing. So anyway, I think I'm ready to start editorializing a little bit. So look, I mean, the way that people think about how society works in the USA is so unscientific, okay? And when I say scientific, I'm referring to the framework of scientific socialism that sees society as, or I guess it sees the role, okay, class consciousness is the baseline of all of this,
Mhm.
okay? And the fact that nobody in the USA has class consciousness virtually
Mhm.
is why this all breaks down. Because nobody's looking at this through the lens of the role that drugs and drug addiction and punishment for drug addiction plays in upholding capitalism and suppressing workers.
Mhm.
Nobody looks at the role that capitalism plays in driving people into drug addiction.
Mhm.
Nobody looks at the need, like what would be the best system to serve workers, to serve the revolution. Of course nobody's gonna think about that in the USA, right?
Mm.
Instead, what they're doing is they look at things metaphysically, and they look at things in this really like black and white, good and evil way, where the Republicans want you to think, okay, like drug users are evil. When I found out, this is a total sidetrack. This is my turn to derail a little bit, but when I found out that one of the reasons that we have the like 1 to 2 foot gap at the bottom of our bathroom stalls is because it discourages people using drugs in bathrooms, it's like, yeah, I mean, like we literally have physical manifestations that make everybody's life work. And that's not all. I mean, a lot of hostile architecture is to prevent public drug use. And nobody looks at it from the perspective of like, wait, why are people using drugs so much? Why are they suffering so much that they have to turn to drugs to escape? Why don't people have proper social safety nets? Why don't we have proper health care or addiction services? Just, I mean, like, why don't we have any of this
You're
stuff?
the richest nation on earth. Why can't you do that to your own people?
For our own people. But yes, it's like it's infuriating to me, because I know
Yeah.
people who've had drug and alcohol addiction issues,
Yes.
and they want help.
Yes.
but they can't get it. It's just not available. And then, sometimes people even get court ordered that they have to go to like AA or whatever, which is like not good for everybody, to say the least. I know it helps some people, but some people it's not good for. And there are other avenues that, people should be able to get counseling and professional help. And nobody has access to that in the USA unless you're very wealthy. And then you can go, you can go to like the 4-star rehab clinics and you get all kinds of white glove treatment to help you nurse you through your addiction. Everyone should have access to professional help with these kinds of problems. Instead, what we get is people thrown up and locked up and have their civil rights taken away from them permanently. Yeah. And it's a horrible system. And people act like the punitive system is somehow superior to giving people treatment. I just don't understand that mindset at all. It's like the idea that you need to be, I do understand it. It comes down to the capitalist individualism and the idea that every social problem boils down to individual moral failure.
Yep.
And that's just not the case. Drug addiction is a social disease. Drug addiction is caused by failings in the social system. Drug addiction is exacerbated by the evils of capitalism. And, just look at the OxyContin thing as a great example. I mean, why did so many people get hooked on opioids in the last decade? Because doctors were pushing OxyContin because they were getting all kinds of incentives from pharmaceutical companies to push OxyContin and spreading misinformation about it. Mm-hmm. All these people got hooked, and the companies, the corporations were going gangbusters, making hand over fist, and they never got anything. They didn't even get a slap on the wrist, really. The people who suffer are the workers.
Yep.
As always. So the solution to this problem really, unfortunately, the only real solution in the USA to this problem is class consciousness and revolution. Because the system that exists right now, look, how long have we had a quote unquote war on drugs? I'm 4 years old. My entire life, they've been talking about this war on drugs.
Yeah.
They've been locking people up over drugs, at least going back to the 20s and 30s. Yeah. They had the big
it's just a war on,
poverty.
Poor people, poverty, and black and non-white people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a huge racial component. Because if you look back at cannabis, quote unquote marijuana, the reason that term gets used, it goes all the way back to the 20s and 30s when there was a huge immigrant scare because, like today, there was a lot of hatred for immigrants because the idea was that the immigrants were coming in and taking people's jobs, the exact same kind of bullshit you hear today. Yeah. And people said that cannabis was making Mexican people and people from South America go like into violent rages and it's like silly, absurd stuff now that, we have a lot more experience with cannabis and we know that it doesn't put people in a violent rage. It's actually quite the opposite. It puts people in like a peaceful.
Opposite.
Yeah.
It's just like.
It relaxes people a lot. But anyway.
Pain, deal with pain.
Yeah, right. So.
I have chronic pain whenever I have my period. Mm-hmm. And I would be struggling to find a kind of medicine for it. Mm-hmm. But it helped a lot. Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of people who benefit from it medically, but the reason that there's a huge stigma against cannabis now is because of racism and anti-immigrant, anti-immigration rhetoric and propaganda in the 20s and 30s. And then in the 60s, it was used to lock up black folks who were like radical and trying to, fight back against racism and get their civil rights and that sort of thing. There's always been a racial component, like Luna said, and that is tied up completely with capitalism because one of the ways that capitalism most effectively divides workers is through racism.
And also, you think war on drug, but I don't see any war on alcohol. If they really care about addiction like that.
Well, we did have the prohibition back in the day, but no, I guess the point you're trying to make is that alcohol is a destructive drug.
Alcohol
and I would
is
say
very destructive.
Yeah, in my life, I've seen a lot of people whose lives have been ruined by alcohol.
In my, experience, alcohol has way more of experience and bad experience than actual any drug.
Right. But why don't we lock people up for just being addicted to alcohol? Because it is, first of all, there's not nearly as much of a race line with alcohol. It's And second of all, the drugs, I mean, you have to look at the development, the way that it developed historically. Alcohol goes back centuries.
Yeah.
A lot of the drugs that are popular now started cropping up in the 20th century when we started to have civil rights and workers' movements that needed to be suppressed.
Your war on cigarettes when?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Cigarette is just purely bad.
Right.
Cigarette is just purely bad for your health. There's no good sign from cigarettes whatsoever that I learned so far.
Right, but they're not locking people up for cigarettes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and you have to ask yourself why. The reason is because of the history. Look at the history, and you will see that it all has to do with suppressing the working class in various ways. Suppressing Black people, suppressing LGBTQ plus people who are more likely to be depressed and in pain and that sort of thing, and therefore need to self-medicate. Suppressing the working class people who are poor, the houseless, right? So, I don't know. I think this is an issue that really has a class character.
Alcohol is a big business.
Well, drugs are big
Drugs are
business
so big.
too.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I want to add one more point in the hypocrisy of the USA. So domestically, they've been having war on drugs for how long? 100 years, something. It's been like since they start like locking up non-white people for drug use. But internationally, you know, like the USA were involved in a drug war in China, you know, where like they forced China and Vietnam and Laos to grow opium. So like they continue what the French colonialists did, was like force us growing opium so they can just took all the opium that we got of the Sabbath and make drug out of it, heroin out of it. And then Contra and all of the, you know, Colombia kind of gangsters and all got connected to the USA. But like, look at how the USA is controlling you. You know, they force the poor countries to grow opium to make like, you know, a bunch of drugs, and then domestically they take that as an excuse, you know, the drug using as an excuse to lock up non-white people.
Yeah, they were doing that in Afghanistan too, forcing them to.
Yeah, exactly. In Afghanistan, I forgot about that.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, if you become acquainted with the tools of class analysis, then these things start to make a lot more sense, and the solutions start to become a lot more clear.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get that from mainstream politics in the USA, so unfortunately. So, yeah, so that's pretty rough. And I don't know. I hope that the system in Oregon, I hope they manage to improve it over time and make it actually serve the people. That would be great. I think it's disgusting the way that the conservatives are trying to hobble and destroy this system before it even gets a chance to get off the ground. I mean, building a system like this, which is pretty much unprecedented in the USA, it's something that's going to take like at least like a full generation. I mean, it's going to take like decades really to really figure out how to address such a huge problem. And you can't even, you can't even really fully address it as long as capitalism is allowed to fester in the USA. So, I mean, the best they can hope to do is like damage control, right? But I'd rather have them do damage control and really try to help people than lock them up and ruin people's lives even more.
Exactly.
So, what really causes people to go into violent rages is desperation caused by economic inequality. Yeah.
And usually the people who are not educated or heavily indoctrinated, they see the wealth in like economic inequality, wealth inequality, but instead of learning and knowing what causes it, they blame the wrong subject. And the most common subject is immigrants. So that is very, very dangerous.
Immigrants and black folks too.
Yeah,
Because
black folks.
if you look at like the way that the prison industrial complex is, it's a slavery system, and it predominantly enslaves black people in terms
the
of
Fifth Amendment, right? Or
no,
the 13th?
13th. Yeah.
Yes, the 13th Amendment.
Yep. It's Congress shall abolish slavery, blah 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 blah, but except for in prisons, then slavery is totally fine, and that's why our prison system is a slave system.
A silver lining news. Antonio Oliver is in Vietnam now and getting married in the 17th.
Yeah, congratulations, Antonio.
Congratulations.
So I guess we're gonna move on to a new topics.
Yes.
That was a little heavy, so we have a story from Grant that might cleanse the palate. and or maybe the opposite. Yeah, maybe you should jump in, Grant. Set it up.
Okay.
Welcome, Slop.
Welcome back, Slop.
Hey y'all. Where did my tab go?
You lost.
Here it is. Okay. So, what if I told you that you should save your tuna can?
I would say, I would probably go back to the drug topic and ask what drugs you've been using.
And if I told you that there was somebody that wrote a blog post that said you can use them as last-minute dinner party decor, what do you think that would be? What do you think that they're gonna say? What do you think that blog post is gonna say?
I would assume that it's a Slopstash blog post, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. Me too. But guess what?
What?
It's not. This
Chicken
was written by somebody that I'm sure is human and definitely not AI.
Oh,
Oh God! All right,
all right.
that's a
So,
pretty good
like,
setup.
what?
Okay.
I honestly do want to know. Like, what do you think you would use a tuna can for
Oh.
decor?
Why would you use a tuna can? See, I haven't even looked at the article
No.
yet, so I'm
Yeah.
going.
Well,
after this.
good. So,
Good.
no,
Don't look
I'm
at it.
asking you, what do you think the
Fresh.
decor is going to be?
What would you? So it's for a dinner party.
Yeah.
So the question is, how would you use tuna cans? As I would. Okay, my first assumption would be this: the economy's pretty bad right now. We can't all
Yeah.
afford to go to the Crate and Barrel and get a fancy dinner party set of
barbecue tuna or
ramekins
something.
or whatever they're called, right?
Oh yeah, barbecue
So-
ramekins. That's
So
pretty.
maybe
good.
ramekins, I would say, or
Ramekins.
some kind of like hors d'oeuvre.
No,
tableware.
okay,
Like-
so I'm just gonna cut you off right now. They want you to use these as candles.
what?
They want you to fill these things with wax and then burn them at your dinner
Oh.
party. Which I don't know. I don't know the last time you cleaned a
Wait,
tuna can.
wait.
but, like you.
I
can't
don't
get that
know.
smell out.
Wait.
Stinky, right?
There's
If you
so
burn
many-
candle on
wait,
it,
there's so
the
many-
smell is gonna
What?
all
All right. First of all, that's a lot of labor. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You have to buy like what wax from like in bulk, like a block of wax, or what do they
You
say?
Melt
don't just
it down.
have a supply of wax already, EJ?
I got some earwax.
Yeah, you do. You do have some
Um,
earwax.
Ew.
I mean,
But
but think about how hard that is. Because like I've messed with wax a lot to make like mustache waxes and beard waxes and that sort of thing, and you have to like. I mean, it's sloppy.
Is it tuna scented
candles.
candle? Oh God.
you gotta find a wick, an appropriate sized wick for it.
Yeah, where
too.
do you even get wicks? What is this?
Hey,
1910
big
England?
deal. Maybe even like English people didn't do this in 1910.
All right, hold on. I gotta just take a look. I gotta see what's going on here. How is this better than just going and buying like tea candles at the dollar store? You could buy
Yeah,
a pack
I know.
of like 10 tea candles at the dollar store last time I checked.
I mean, instead of using tuna can, you can use any kind of can,
or you
but
could
it's
just
not tuna.
or you could just buy candles. You could just buy candles.
I
and
mean,
they're-
I guess
the-
the sense that they are trying to,
Yeah.
you know,
For-
like reuse, reproduce
okay,
stuff.
This is going too far, Lou. This is like
And
Well,
here's
it's
the
just
deal,
like I
I-
feel like you could reuse this can for just about anything other
You could
than
just
just,
Anything.
like,
Wait,
burning wax
folks,
in it.
you could just they're cans. It's
They're
like the
cans.
most. It's like when you think of recycling, the very first thing you think of is cans.
Yeah, right.
I don't
And
think of
also,
anything
like,
before I
you
think of
use
cans.
a lot of kind of cans. Instead of using tuna can use like you're like a green bean can or like beetroot cans or like corn cans.
Well,
please.
corn cans and no, hold on. I do have a rebuttal to that. Can we put this on screen?
I'm
Let's
excited.
a corn can. All right, a can of corn.
Where's your corn can at?
Look at the ratio, height to width ratio of a corn can. It's like narrow and tall. Like
Okay.
that's a big ass candle.
Yeah,
That's like a Yankee candle.
yeah.
Whereas a tuna can, it's more like a little tea candle,
Uh.
which would be more appropriate for like a dinner party.
Mm.
Although, like, could you imagine being invited to someone's dinner party? Like, I don't have.
Tuna
Look,
can.
I'm not a snob. I'm the farthest thing from a snob. I don't have any expectation when I go to a dinner party that it's going to be like nice and they're going to have fancy tableware and it's going to be candlelit or whatever. But if I walk into your dining room and there are empty tuna cans and it smells like fish and there's like a big mess of wax in your kitchen from this
Ew.
this like
I would just get the heck out of that
harebrained project that you've been endeavoring
I
on
mean,
all night.
Imagine the smell of perfume and tuna oil together.
Oh, is that jasmine and tuna ice? Is that lavender and fish?
That's actually my new beard oil.
Oh, oh God.
Oh gosh.
Tuna
I don't
and
even wanna think
jasmine.
about that. All right, let's see. Let's take a closer gander at this article here. This is a great palate cleanser, slop, I have to say. All right. Instead of throwing out empty tuna cans, use them as last-minute dinner party decor by Chloe O'Donnell. Wow, Chloe. All right, let's go. Let's take a trip.
Chloe, what did you do?
With all the with all the preparation that goes into planning a dinner party, it's easy for some things to fall by the wayside. Between coming up with a tasty menu and deciding where everyone should be seated. See, like this is like a formal dinner party they're talking about, where you have assigned seating.
Seating. Like right next to the placard that your name is printed on. It also
I'm
has
thinking
this
about a second use of it.
tuna can candle.
Okay. I'm thinking about a second use. Instead of using it as a candle thing, can we just like I make homemade wax for your bear? Can I use tuna can for your bear wax?
No. Don't encourage Chloe. Don't give Chloe more ideas to type into ChatGPT.
Chloe, the totally human, not AI writer for tasting
I know.
table.
I don't even know how this happened though. Like, what kind of AI prompt was used to make this article?
Right.
I mean, I could imagine quite a few, to be honest, that would make sense to me as a content creator. But then again,
How can we use did they just type in how can you use a shoebox? How can you use an old pickle jar? How can you use
Just make a paper cup or something. Jesus.
how can you use used Q-tips in a dinner party, and then just whatever ChatGPT vomited forth, they just threw that on the tastingtable.com. So okay, yeah, imagine you're having a very fancy dinner party where you have assigned seating, but putting inviting decorations maybe at the bottom of your list of priorities. But that's a shame because even the simplest dinner party decor can really take your gathering to the next level. Luckily, there's an easy way to add a bit of pizzazz to your next party by just using some empty tuna cans.
it's just so
Dude,
easy.
these are
It's
just
so easy.
straight
Why
up tea candles. These are just tea candles.
But they're like, yeah, I know the image there. Is
Those are
definitely
literally.
tea
That's what I'm
candles.
saying. Those are literally just tea candles. They're
It's
not just having a big.
listen, you don't understand, EJ. What the author here is trying to do is remind you that all you have to actually do is go out and buy tea candles.
I love that they told you that you have to make sure to scrub away any tuna remnants and remove the label.
How much water wasted
That
on
is-
that?
But like,
as optimistic.
well, I love the idea that somebody might forget to do both of those things.
Ah!
Like they need to be.
Just take the tuna
article
out.
needs to-
Take the tuna out and immediately pour the candle wax in. Ooh,
just like chunks of
ooh,
chunks of rotting tuna in it, and the
on
labels.
the bottom.
It still has like
the bottom of that candle. Oh my
bumblebee
God.
tuna. It's like,
And then when the candle burn into that chunk of tuna, you're gonna have a like barbecue tuna thing.
wait a minute, hold on. It doesn't even say. Okay, I actually now I feel like they're being lazy because I thought they were going to say like fill it with wax and get your own wick and make a candle, but they're just saying to stick a candle inside the tin can.
Right.
Ah.
That's the second part of this too, which is just it's absolutely wild.
You can set the tuna cans around as they are, or elevate some on books.
What?
Did AI come up with this? This is wild.
Who put a
You
candle
can
on
put-
a
no,
Put it
book?
on some books. Oh man, my tuna
Put a
can is
candle
so
on a
low.
book.
I love this.
Are you out of ideas? Put it on some books.
I love
Seriously, on a book?
You know, Luna, I love this tuna candle, but it's just so low. How can I raise it?
Oh, you take some book.
Put it on some books.
Yeah, put it on some books.
It's totally a human
Um,
person, who wrote this.
Oh, wait. Hold on. During the autumn months, these tuna candles are perfect for lighting up the insides of jack-o'-lanterns.
What is this? What?
This is when you pick a pumpkin with the face at Halloween.
Oh gosh. Okay.
If you're feeling crafty, you can decorate the cans with a bit of hot glue. Crafting materials like spare scraps of fabric or twine. And some creativity. All right. There's better ways to use your time when you're planning a fancy dinner party with assigned seating. And I think one of the things you could do is just go to the dollar store and buy some tea candles.
I'm interested though what they were cooking with all of those cans of tuna. I would be.
I mean,
interested to know
maybe
about
like
that.
me when I'm living alone. Like anytime Luna goes out of town. All right, should I share this? My depressing bachelor meal plan.
Oh my gosh.
Is it still a can of olives and salsa?
Oh, that's what I used to have in America. They don't have.
Yeah.
It's harder to come by salsa and olives in Vietnam.
Oh.
So in
Okay,
Vietnam,
it's
my
good
go-to
to know,
is
good to keep in mind.
I used to have black beans and salsa with chips, and then I would wash it down with some olives. That was my go-to bachelor meal in the U.S. But in Vietnam, what I tend to do is I'll just literally open a can of tuna and get some crackers and just it's like chips and dip.
That makes mayonnaise with the tuna first.
That's too much work.
Oh gosh.
I
You
should-
should try it. You should try it.
I buy
It
the
does-
chili tuna they have in Vietnam is pretty good. It's tuna
I
that's
thought
packed with
the chili
chili.
tuna is good actually.
and then I get some crackers and I just dip them in the tuna. You don't even have to cook anything.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, if you put some mustard in there too, it makes it a little tangy.
I'll try that next time. You got your protein, you got your wheat, you got your chili peppers. It's all the food groups right there.
So you got another topic lined up, right?
Yeah, we got one more.
Okay.
One more big one. We got a bunch of small ones too we could do. But let's
Well, I don't know. I'll scooch on out of here.
I don't feel like I have any closing remarks for this tuna candle story. Just
Oh no,
let's-
that's just all. That's
Human
it.
interest.
I just wanted to brighten your day. Yeah, we got a lot of human interest stories tonight.
we did. Well, I'm
I mean, the
interested.
tuna candle really brightened my day. Yes.
I'm human and I'm interested.
In making tuna candle, and after that I put it on a book.
Put that one on the books.
All right, I'm in.
Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. Here's a little terrifying news related to AI, actually. Maybe Chloe will make an appearance. We never know. We never know. All right. This is something we've talked about quite a lot on this show. If you're just tuning in, welcome. This is BREADCAST. I'm EJ. This is Luna.
I'm Luna.
Slopstash just left. I don't think that we're going to go to overtime today, folks, because we have not. Well, first of all, I think Slopstash is getting a little sleepy, and second of all, I guess we haven't instituted the donation policy, so I can't tell people that if we get more donations, we'll stay later because we haven't instituted that policy officially yet. So there's no chance. There's no chance. I think we might be wrapping this up soon, but I do want to finish this article. All right, the intelligence brief. I know I'm not subscribing to your god dang newsletter. Does that work on anybody? Has anybody ever done that? Like, why do they do that cold? I appreciate when they at least let you, like, sometimes they'll pop up after you've scrolled a little bit, like you're into the story, and it's like, oh, this story's pretty good. You want to subscribe to a newsletter? Yeah, this story's pretty good. I might subscribe. I hate when it pops up before you've even looked at the freaking story.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to go on Faith and give you my email address on Faith when I haven't even read your article?
Like, I'm not even sure that I would pay for this yet.
I don't trust people through Zoom, let alone some website I've never even used before. That's a callback. That's a throwback to our last, to our previous article. All right, CounterCloud. CounterCloud. Inside CounterCloud, a fully autonomous AI disinformation system. The AI-powered disinformation experiment you've never heard of. As of 2024, American presidential election looms. A storm surge of disinformation will bombard the media landscape, and AI will play a significant role in the creation of this fake content intended to sway public opinion. Now things have just become even more complicated Because in June, an unlisted YouTube video dropped that no one really noticed, presenting an experiment of how AI can truly dominate the information ecosystem. It's called CounterCloud. It's totally anonymous, and it provides a glimpse into how AI and disinformation will work together in the future, and it only costs $400. This is so terrifying because there is like no inoculation against this in the public at large.
Mm.
And I mean, I'll tell you, we've already had like sock puppet farms and server farms with like, you've seen the pictures where they'll have somebody in like some developing country with a panel of phones in front of them.
Yeah.
They'll have like 50 phones laid out on a panel in front of them, and they're just like tweeting or Facebooking all day. Typically, this is a marketing thing where they're selling like t-shirt designs or something like that. But they also do it for misinformation campaigns, right? And you pay these people so little because they're in these developing imperialized countries that it's probably really not that much more or less expensive than the AI. But one big difference here is that the AI, it's just so much faster and it can just generate so much more than a human can do. Even if you got 50 phones in front of you, you're gonna be slower. And then also a lot of people in the developing countries, English isn't their first language, so it's a little bit easier to catch, you know, what they're doing. But with ChatGPT, now you can instead of having 50 phones in front of you, you can take one of those sock puppet workers who's probably making like starvation wages in some imperialized country, and they can be probably generating thousands of social media posts. But anyway, let's finish. Let's keep going with the article. AI has already played a significant role in disinformation campaigns across the world, from trying to manipulate Indian voters to altering perceptions about the war in Ukraine, to even the Republican Party using it to create outlandish dystopian narratives. The key factor here is that these AI-generated disinformation events are individually generated. And by the way, that article about the Republican Party we might look at too if we have time. Someone needs to tell the AI what to do, give it direction, and pick a narrative target to exploit. Imagine if the AI itself could decide who and what to target and how to craft the most viral content for maximum spread. Enter CounterCloud. Their website hosts an unlisted YouTube video that begins with the narrator, who goes by Neapaw, expressing an interest in online disinformation and influence campaigns inspired by strong language competencies of large language models. Is it possible to engineer an AI LLM to scrape, generate, and distribute AI-generated misinformation without human intervention? Can it be done at scale? How much can this system generate? How quickly and how well? It's running on a... Oh, we got a super chat from Gio. I've just been informed.
Yes.
What's it say? What it says.
Gio, is this article a CounterCloud ad?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I mean, it does. It is. I guess there are a lot of people who would read this and go sign up for CounterCloud today. It's running on a small AWS instance. The backend is WordPress with a very generic news template.
Is that donation or no? Am I wrong?
No, that's from last week.
Oh, okay, good.
2 weeks ago, actually, because we didn't stream last week. Okay. The backend is WordPress and a very generic news template. Neapaw is an experienced entrepreneur and engineer who lives in a country that is not part of the Western intelligence apparatus. They've given talks at multiple security conferences, including Black Hat and DEF CON, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily want to be giving Neapaw my personal information and sign up for their service, just saying. This doesn't sound like the kind of person you want to like give your credentials to for anything. But anyway,
Ayo, I just got a bunch of donations. Oh my goodness. It's
huh?
yes. Don't
You just got them?
yes.
What are they?
Am I crazy? Am I crazy? No. I don't know how, but my StreamYard just glitched in just the 2 minutes ago, and then like
I think it just scrolled down. I think you scrolled down and you saw old ones.
Yeah, I think so. But
Anyway.
anyway.
Moving on.
Okay.
Starting in early May of 2023 and over the next several weeks, the experiment eventually evolved to include various writing styles, languages, and methods. The system was tuned to create fake stories and historical events. Later, a gatekeeper module was built to decide whether to respond to an article, and fake journalists were created to lend authenticity. So it's literally like a turnkey misinformation campaign in a box. The system is also able to generate fake comments, images, and sound clips. The next step involved directing traffic to the site, so the LLM was tasked with generating Twitter, now X posts, to promote the website, counter opposing tweets via trolling, or promote positive narratives. I mean, this is really bad news, and especially because Elon Musk is planning on just completely opening the floodgates to this kind of BS coming onto Twitter. Now, I will tell you this. I haven't been on Twitter for years. I'm very happy that I'm not on Twitter anymore. Luna's on Twitter though, and I help her moderate her Twitter, right?
Mhm.
And I have never, ever seen as much spam as fast as I see on Twitter now. Luna will make a post, and
Yes.
within seconds,
Yes.
like 3 seconds,
They
there will be. If Luna makes a
specifically
thread,
target me.
yeah,
and
if
my
Luna makes a
tweets.
thread with like 10 posts in the thread, right? All of them within seconds will have spam replies
Yes.
instantly, and Luna blocks them. Which Musk is saying he wants to get rid of the block feature. That will kill. We will definitely leave Twitter if that happens. Like
Yes.
no doubt about it.
The moment that freaking Elon Musk get rid of the block, function, that's just gonna forever bye-bye to Twitter. There's no point saying it anymore.
But like the spam is unbelievable. I haven't seen this much spam ever on social media as I'm seeing on Twitter these days. And I think a lot of it has to do with Chat GPT, large language model technology.
Yeah.
And that's just, and most of the spam Luna gets is like, just trying to get people to buy crap. The fact that it can be used with the same alacrity and the same volume for misinformation politically is terrifying because people are not at all media literate enough to deal with these systems. And that's why I tried desperately we both tried desperately through our videos and through the Dialectical Materialism book and everything to train people to be more aware of these kinds of things. But I mean, it's still the case that people will just believe the wildest BS on social media. And it's scary. And we're not teaching kids to be more media literate or social media
Nope.
literate or aware of these systems.
Indoctrinating them even more.
There's no inoculation whatsoever. That's what really scares me. These systems are not a problem if people have some scientific awareness of how the world works.
Yeah.
But because they don't, these systems are extremely dangerous. The danger is not with the system, in other words, it's with the ingrained and cultivated ignorance of the working class in the Western world. I hate to say that. I'm not being anti-worker when I say that. I'm saying that our school system, for instance, is designed to make people good workers and malleable to capitalist indoctrination and propaganda. Okay? That's not an indictment of the working class. That's an indictment of the system. And we as workers who have attained class consciousness and who see how the system works, it's completely on us to build our own countermeasures and to inoculate our fellow workers and to educate and train our fellow workers in dealing with these misinformation systems and campaigns. Because there's a lot of sophisticated misinformation, and that's nothing new. That's been going on for centuries. But what we've lost is the working class tradecraft of counter propaganda and deprogramming people from capitalist indoctrination.
Exactly. Here's the thing. In Vietnam, we've been saying a lot, especially Vietnamese communists, that, before in the past, we read newspapers to have information, But now we need to have a knowledge information before we go to read newspapers. That's how bad it is, especially in the West.
And, if you're a communist, if you're a union organizer, if you're interested in organizing mutual aid, you have to be aware of these systems and you have to learn how to teach people to be resistant to this kind of BS. And I guess that's my call to action. It's like, we all have to become teachers. Every single one of us has to be a teacher. And I see Big Teal in the chat is a teacher and says, where's that? Build working class institutions and popular education.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's correct.
Very much important.
Okay, so another article. This is I don't really know the story here, but I was hoping to ask Grant about it, if that's okay before we wrap up. Was the thing about the Columbia City Council? Oh my gosh, the Zoom, the wacky Zoom. All right, where did that? Wait, are you sure? You said something about City Council in Columbia preventing local groups from mutual aid. Oh, that's the food okay.
Thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I think that's all the big stories.
We in Vietnam, we've been saying like the USA move on to a new. I mean, they've been doing it, but like they focusing it more. The first warfare was, the hot weapon warfare that we won against them, and then the second is like the hybrid warfare. If it was both kind of weapon and information warfare, but now they're moving on nearly totally on information warfare on like countries like Vietnam. Like use a lot of soft power and money to manipulate our people, use the mainstream media to literally to fool us, especially liberals, about thinking about like how great America is and still believe in the American dreams and how Vietnam is actually authoritarian. The same kind of narrative, but that they use a lot more insidious way. Like for example, they give scholarship to students, Vietnamese students, to go abroad and study. So like how tricky it is, like they chose the best student in Vietnam, the one with like the best ability to learn, gave them like some money, and then they go abroad to study because like we indoctrinated to believe that you have a great education system over there.
Yeah.
And then while studying over there for years, we would be heavily, freely exposed to the indoctrination from the West. And that is how we lost our people, and that is how our young people got indoctrinated into the West, believing the Western system.
Well, that's also why a lot of the people you see that are like very fluent in English and academics and that sort of thing from Vietnam tend to be, there's a lot of anti-communists in that group.
Exactly,
and it's because they've been recruited and groomed into this anti-communist ideology through the Fulbright system and things like that.
Yeah. Singapore is a very famous country for that.
Oh, really? For indoctrinating?
Yes.
Joshua says, combating misinformation is one hell of a fight. Took me ages to get most of my family vaccinated for COVID. I will say that that's one area in which the Vietnamese people are definitely a lot more resilient to misinformation, because like almost 100% of Vietnamese people have been vaccinated and boosted. And you don't see the same kind of like anti-vax false consciousness here that you see in the West. And I would say that, like, just generally speaking, I think Vietnamese people are more resilient.
We bullied anti-vax people into oblivion. They don't exist anymore.
Grant Scarborough says, I have a feeling I'll be joining Mastodon sometime this month, which that's great. I'm not saying not to join Mastodon. I used to be one of the biggest cheerleaders for Mastodon. In fact, I was one of the first people in the kind of left sphere to be making videos. And this was like in 2018, encouraging people to go to Mastodon. And I got on there pretty early, but I have to say that Mastodon has a lot of the same systemic issues that Twitter and Facebook and all these other apps have, which is that it's still a bunch of strangers competing for engagement. And I think that the future of the internet, if we want to build a healthier internet, is about reducing the scale and increasing, in other words, reducing the quantity and increasing the quality.
Yeah.
Speaking in non-dialectical terms right now, speaking in the more common definition of those terms.
Yeah.
In other words, I think it's more productive for you to spend your time in, if you want to use the internet effectively for organizing and that sort of thing. And this is just, I don't know, this is just my guess. This is my hypothesis. Mm-hmm. You tell me if it actually works in practice or not, or if you've had any experiences that prove me right or wrong. But I think that you're going to be more likely to have success with a local group chat of some kind, maybe on Facebook or whatever, maybe with your local org or whatever, and having quality conversations and making and organizing online, using the internet as an organizing platform for things that happen more in your local vicinity. Exactly. And with a smaller number of people where you're actually ideologically aligned and you can actually get things done, as opposed to going on platforms like YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or whatever and just screaming out into the void, especially things like Twitter. And especially in this era where now Twitter is going to be flooded with all these bots and shit. I don't know. I think Mastodon's going to have that same problem because it's just a bunch of, it's hundreds of thousands of strangers screaming at each other and competing for little heart icons. It's very, very, that's very counterproductive, I think, because it puts you into this individualist competitive mindset, which is just the capitalist mindset. That's what that's the capitalists want you to have. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I'm not saying not to go on Mastodon. I'm just saying be aware of its limitations and its dangers. And of course, there will be bots on Mastodon, of course. Let's see. I saw another chat I wanted to address real quick. Well, I lost it. I don't know where it went. Anyway, I used to. I'm not active on Mastodon. Maybe there's still an account, but I haven't used it in a very long time. So, all right. The drones flying in New York City are very concerning. That's correct. They concern me a lot. All these police robots concern me a lot. Combined with the AI tech, cops and soldiers are also using the internet to misinform people.
Yep.
Something we need to keep our eye on and pay attention to moving forward. But I think, I guess, is that it? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight, Luna?
Mostly it, yeah.
So make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/LunaOiLive, LunaOiLive, because Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern U.S. time,
Yes.
Luna will be having Mooncast,
Correct.
where Luna talks about Vietnamese politics,
Yes.
culture, news,
Mm-hmm.
dialectical materialism, and a lot of other interesting things.
Philosophical stuff. Too.
Philosophy, getting nerdy over here.
Yeah.
So that's at LunaOi Live, youtube.com/LunaOi Live. It's also at youtube.com/LunaOi, but the archive is at LunaOi Live.
Yeah.
I also encourage you to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/noncompete. I have a video that I just launched, which is on fascism, the functions of fascism.
Yeah.
It's actually a Michael Perini lecture that I turned into a little documentary. Luna and I and our comrades did that together. And the next video that's going to drop, hopefully but before this weekend, is also on fascism. It's on the first Nazis in the USA, the Free Society of Teutonia and the Friends of New Germany and a bunch of other little Nazi shitheads. And it talks about how they, first of all, believed that the USA, it was perfectly compatible. There was no conflict or contradiction between being a Nazi and being a patriotic American. And I find that very telling. It says a lot about the Nazi perspective and the characteristics of the USA, that the very first Nazis in the USA were very clear on the fact that it was totally possible to be a Nazi and American at the same time. There's no contradiction. In fact, they were very proud to say that George Washington was the first fascist.
Mm-hmm.
So that video will be coming out before next weekend on youtube.com/noncompete. So keep an eye out for that.
One Eye Monkey 9000 said, love the stickers on my laptop. Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. That is a nice touch. See, we said it's free advertising space, so we decided to festoon it with
Your
communist
logo
propaganda.
here.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. This is our
The
logo
communist
now.
propaganda has taken the prime position, the prime real estate. All right. Well, thank you for watching, folks. We really appreciate you being here. As always, I'm EJ.
I'm Luna.
And the Slopstash is off camera, but with us in spirit. We'll see you next week, but be sure to tune in to Mooncast Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And remember, get the book. Where's the book? Always got to plug the book.
It's so fun.
Go get it. Go get the book. Get the book. Go get the book. People want to see the book. You did a beautiful cover. You're still connected?
Oh.
Just get the book. Just grab the book.
See how much damage you did?
I have done no damage. Just give me the book. Luna, just give me the book. Lord have mercy. Here's the book. Curriculum of the Basic Principles of Marxism-Leninism. I'm sure that Slopstash has an on-screen banner for where you can get this book. Bannionhouse.org/shop. You can get this book for free, the ebook, or you can get it in print. That costs a little money. We can't make free books yet in paper form, but we can make them in ebook form. So get that book. What is it about, Luna?
It is about the very basic principles of Marxism.
Don't just say the title of this book. Don't do that.
The title is the topic of the book.
It's about, what is dialectical
It's
materialism?
about dialectical materialism. What does it mean? The definition of dialectical materialism, and also materialist dialectics.
Do you want to give a little teaser of what those things are so people might want to read the book?
Yeah. You do it. You do a better job than me.
Luna, you are not doing a great job selling
No,
this book.
I'm not.
All right. Dialectical materialism is a universal philosophical framework which deals with, first of all, the relationship between matter and consciousness,
Yes.
and the fact that you can that the material world determines reality, but consciousness through human activity
Getting back.
and labor can impact back on material reality. And materialist dialectics is the study of development
Yes,
processes,
the methodology.
the methodology of dialectical materialism. And
Mhm.
after you read this book, guess what? Pretty soon we're coming out with part 2,
Yes.
historical materialism. That's when you're going to really start to understand how this gets put to use to understand capitalism and the nature of capitalism and the path to socialism and eventually the stateless classless society that we call communism. It's a great book. Part 2 is going to be really fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm EJ. This is Luna. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.